Okay, but real talk for a sec. Who else has been totally tricked by those giant store signs screaming 50% off? You get all excited, then bam, turns out it's for some credit card you wouldn't even want if it were free. And don't even get me started trying to actually understand those best credit cards of whatever year articles. It's like they want us to be confused.
It's like they're speaking a different language.
Right.
Yeah, they make it sound as easy as, like, pick out a pair of socks. When really finding the right credit card, it's way more like finding a good therapist. You need someone who actually gets you.
Yes, 100%. And that's what we're all about in this deep dive. You guys have given us a ton of info on the best credit cards of 2024, and our mission today, should we choose to accept it?
We accept.
Is to help you walk away knowing exactly what to look for in a credit card and how to choose one that won't leave you drowning in debt.
And maybe even earn you some sweet, sweet rewards while you're at it.
Okay, so we've got this mountain of credit card info, which is awesome, but where do we even begin? Help a friend out.
Well, just like with anything else in life, you need to start with the basics. Think of it like before you can bake a cake, you gotta
lick the spoon.
Well, yeah, obviously. But first, you gotta make sure you've got all your ingredients figured out.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right. So ingredient number one when it comes to credit cards, your credit score.
Yes. The credit score. It's like this mythical creature that follows you around.
Right. It's basically a report card for your finances. It tells lenders how good you are at managing money, paying bills on time, that kind of thing. And just like back in school, there are different levels of good. A high score is like getting straight A's, opens doors to the best credit cards with the best perks. Lower score, well, I'd have to work your way up.
So it's kind of a big deal. Got it. What's next? What other ingredients are we working with here?
Next up, and this is a big one, figuring out your spending personality. Are you like a jet setter or more of a homebody? Do you spend most of your money on groceries or online shopping sprees?
Ooh, online shopping sprees. Don't judge.
No judgment here, believe me.
Yeah.
The point is, different cards reward different types of spenders. Like picking a travel card when you only travel once a year, that's like
buying a gym membership and never going.
Exactly. And speaking of hard-earned cash, gotta ask yourself one more question before we dive into the credit card abyss.
Yeah.
Are you starting with a clean slate, debt-free and fabulous, or are you, carrying a little credit card debt baggage with you?
Okay, deep breaths, everybody. Time to face the music. But for real, this feels like a game changer when it comes to choosing the right card.
Seriously, it's huge. Because if you're swimming in credit card debt already, no amount of rewards is going to make that disappear.
It's like trying to put out a fire with gasoline.
Pretty much.
Gosh.
Okay, so let's assume our finances are in a good place. No debt fires to put out. And we're ready to explore all those shiny credit card offers. But I'll be honest, sometimes those card categories, they
blur together.
Yeah. Best travel, best cash back. I mean, come on.
It's like they're speaking another language.
Right. So that's why we're going to break it all down, starting with, let's see. This article says the best overall card is the Capital One Quicksilver Cash Rewards credit card.
Okay, Quicksilver Cash Rewards, I mean, at least it sounds like something I want. And 1.5% back on everything. Not bad.
Not bad at all. The best thing about those best overall cards is they keep things simple. They're like, your favorite pair of jeans that go with everything.
They're reliable.
Totally. But then you've got your best travel cards. Those are more like...
Your fancy pants?
Yes. Perfect analogy. And this article chose the Chase Sapphire Reserve as its top pick. But heads up, that card comes with a $550 annual fee.
Ooh. Okay, so maybe not for every occasion.
Exactly. You got to be using those travel perks to make that fee worth it. It's like, I don't know, buying a whole year's worth of concert tickets if you're only going to go to one show.
Ouch. Okay, so what about those of us who are, shall we say, more likely to be found at the grocery store than the airport? Is there like a best for groceries category, or are we out of luck?
Oh, it totally exists.
Yeah.
And our article chose the Blue Cash Preferred card from American Express for that. It gives you 6% cash back at U.S. supermarkets.
6%. Okay, see, now that's a perk I can get behind. Although I will say, knowing me and my grocery shopping habits, I might hit that spending cap pretty fast.
Yeah, that's the thing with those super specific cards. You got to make sure your spending actually lines up with how you'll use the card. It's like winning a free trip to, well, I wasn't going to say Cleveland, but sure, like winning a free trip somewhere you don't even want to go. Okay, so we've got travel, we've got groceries, we've got the cards that try to do it all. But what about folks who are just getting started with credit cards? Anything for them?
Oh, absolutely. For them, we've got secured cards. According to the article, the best one right now is the Capital One Platinum Secured Card.
Secured card. It even sounds serious.
Well, the good news is they're not as complicated as they sound. Basically, they're like credit cards with training wheels. You give the credit card company a security deposit, and that deposit usually becomes your credit limit.
So you're kind of proving you can be responsible with money.
Exactly. And as you use the card responsibly, pay your bills on time, all that good stuff, you can actually increase your credit limit without putting down more money. So it's like a stepping stone to those fancier cards.
You got it. But before you run off and apply for all the cards.
Oh, no, what now? There's got to be a catch. There always is. Don't worry, there's no catch. No quiz today. Unless you count trying to understand all this credit card stuff in the first place.
Yeah, good point. It can definitely feel like a quiz sometimes, especially with all that fine print they hide at the bottom.
Right. It's like they're trying to sneak something past us. And who wants to end up with hidden fees or crazy high interest rates? Definitely not me. So tell me, what kind of sneaky stuff should we be looking out for?
Well, one thing that trips people up a lot, especially if they travel, is those foreign transaction fees.
Oh, tell me about it. I once bought a scarf in Italy.
Ooh, nice scarf.
It was, but then I got home and saw my credit card bill. That scarf ended up costing like twice as much as I thought it would because of those fees.
It's the worst, right. But that's why it's so important to check for cards that specifically say they waive those fees. Otherwise, you might as well be throwing money away.
Okay, so always double check for foreign transaction fees check. What else?
Another thing to watch out for is those balance transfer offers.
Oh yeah, those 0% APR deals. Sounds pretty good on the surface.
Right, and they can be. If, and this is a big if you actually pay off that balance during that introductory period. Otherwise,
Let me guess, it backfires.
big time. Once that 0% APR period is up, the interest rate shoots up.
Good to know. I'm all about saving money where I can. So speaking of saving money, we were talking about those secured cards earlier for folks who are newer to credit. I'm still a little fuzzy on how the whole credit limit versus security deposit thing works.
Sure, it can be a little confusing. Basically, that security deposit is like collateral. You give the credit card company a certain amount of money, and they base your credit limit on that.
Okay, so if I put down, say, $500 as my security deposit.
Then your credit limit would probably be around $500.
Got it.
But the good news is, as you use the card responsibly, pay your bills on time, your credit limit can go up, even if you don't put down more money.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
We have covered so much ground today, my friend. We've tackled credit scores, spending habits, confusing card categories, hidden fees, all of it.
We've been busy.
But it's all important stuff, because nobody wants to get stuck with a credit card that doesn't work for them. So, any parting words of advice for our credit card curious listeners out there?
Just remember, knowledge is power. Before you even think about applying for a credit card, know what your credit score is, figure out your spending habits, and don't be afraid to ask questions.
And for goodness sake, read that fine print.
Yes.
Well, that wraps up our credit card deep dive. Hopefully you all learned a thing or two about choosing the right card for you. Remember, a credit card shouldn't be a source of stress. It's a tool. And like any tool, you need to know how to use it properly. Until next time, happy spending.